Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. This is Ginny McGraw, who is running for the Charles County Board of Education. She's agreed to come in to have a short interview with ALG tonight, and we're very honored to have you here.
Thank you.
We have 4 short questions that we will ask you to keep within 3 minutes. Our timekeeper will try to help you. Then there's a 5th question, which is the wild card, which you'll draw out of the bucket and then pass to me, and I will read to you as well, and we will go from there. So if you're ready, we will jump right in.
I am.
What do you think are the 3 biggest issues that are facing the Board of Education and the Charles County Public Schools?
Well, I do believe that the issues are multifaceted and they come under the umbrella of school reform. I think that the implementation of the new Common Core curriculum, the new teacher evaluations, a new assessment have added many trepidations to the school system this year. The teachers have had to prepare a new curriculum. The people at central office are working very diligently to prepare the curriculum for the teachers to implement on a daily basis, but we're doing this very quickly. The Common Core has been a national effort, and I do see merit to the Common Core because I do think it equalizes curriculum across the nation so that if our children move from Maryland to California, they're still exposed to the same curriculum. The downfall of it is, I believe, is in the implementation because money was not provided to the states or the counties to implement it. So we're finding that teachers need professional development, that they're needing additional resources. With the new curriculum has come new assessments, and the new assessments, of course, are online. So that, in turn, requires new technology or advanced technology. So this all brings about the need for more money. And as I said earlier, the professional development to be able to be proficient in teaching the children the new curriculum. Along with that, I do think that another issue is teacher and staff compensation, because I do not think that we've been adequately compensated over the last few years. And we have a good core of highly qualified teachers. And I think in order to retain them, we have to be competitive amongst all 3 of our counties. So as a board member, I see my role as being an advocate to get out there and to make sure that the teachers have the resources that they need, the professional development they need, all that we need for the new assessments, as well as adequately compensating them.
3 minutes. Okay. Very good. Next question is, what in your background and current activities have helped you prepare for this position, and what sets you apart from the field?
Well, I believe that my long-term experience as an educator, both in the classroom as an administrator, qualifies me to be a member of the board. I spent 20 years in DC Public Schools as a special education teacher before deciding that it was time to come to the county because my children came to school here and I knew that they were getting a quality education. So I hoped that I would have that opportunity as well. And fortunately for me, I did. So I started my career in 1989 here in Charles County as a special education teacher at Mount Hope Elementary School, where I also was a vice principal and I was a community liaison. And that was a very interesting job for me because what I was able to do is work with the Council of Churches at the time. And we set up homework centers in 3 of the churches, Oak Grove Baptist and Mount Hope Baptist and Nanjemoy Baptist, so that the children had a connection between home and school after school. I also worked in setting up the first GED program down at Mount Hope Nanjemoy, and worked with a council to set up the new Nanjemoy, well, it's not new anymore, the Nanjemoy Center that Steny Hoyer helped to fund. I've worked in Title I schools, I've worked in non-Title I schools. I have worked in urban settings, suburban settings, settings that have high poverty. So I've seen a number of challenges and faced a number of challenges as well as an educator. So I do believe that I understand what happens on a day-to-day basis in a school system. I know how to run a school. I know about the budget, how to manage a budget, and what goes into forming that budget. I also know the value of diversity in the schools and how to be sure that every child has an equal say in an equal education. But I think most importantly, I do know the value of parental involvement. And anyone that has worked with me in my schools knows that I always have an open door policy and that I am accessible at any time. So I think these qualities set me apart from a number of my opponents.
All right. Moving right along.
Oh gosh.
Number 3. What steps would you take as a Board of Education member to work more closely with the commissioners, planning and growth management, and Charles County Public Schools to relieve the pressures from financial shortfalls and school overcrowding?
Well, I do believe that as a Board of Education member, it would be my responsibility to be a visible and vocal board member. Just recently, within the last 2 weeks at the Commissioners' meeting on the budget hearing, I was one of 2 candidates who spoke before the Commissioners to speak about the needs for funding the full budget. I think it's very important that I am always an advocate for the schools and making sure that the children and the teachers have what they need to get the job done. But I think it's really important that all of the commission, the county commissioners, the growth and planning commission, and the school system work in conjunction with one another and have a very positive collaborative relationship. We cannot work in isolation of each other because our decisions affect each other. I do believe that we've begun to make some very positive collaborative partnerships within the county, one being with the Sheriff's Department, where we have the school resource officers in the schools, all the middle and all the high schools, and at a moment's notice whenever we need them in the elementary school. I do think that we've made positive relationships with a lot of community organizations. For instance, I know that the Kiwanis Club has recently approached the schools to develop K clubs. My school was one where actually we have over 30 students who are K club members to develop a sense of community. And with the commissioners, I think we do have a collaborative relationship, but it could be much more positive as well. So I think that, you know, when we collaborate, we share the responsibility for each other's success. So I do think that that is something that's very important, positive collaboration.
Very good. For the 4th question, do you have any concerns about the FY 2015 budget prepared by the current Board of Education, and how do you plan to address them, if so?
Well, actually, I do not have any concerns about the budget. Having lived as an administrator over the last 16 years, the budget has always been discussed with us at administrative meetings, so I do understand the ins and outs of it. I think that the budget this year is a result of a very well thought out, carefully planned process. I think that after I studied this year's, I saw that money is being allocated for startup course for the costs for the new high school. There's money in the budget for a step increase and an increase in health insurance. There's money also in the budget for contributions to the teacher pension system and for a much needed new position in all the elementary schools called the Learning Resource Teacher position. And that position is going to address our gifted students as well as testing in all the schools, because with the advent of the new curriculum, testing is in the forefront of everything. Historically, I think that our budget has been one that's been well planned. We've not had to endure any furloughs, and we've always been provided with all the materials and instruction that we need and the students need to get the job done. I don't know if you're aware that over the past few years, our parents have not been overburdened at the beginning of the school year with being asked for a number of supplies, because the school system supplies crayons, glue sticks, paper towels, baby wipes, so that's less that parents have to buy throughout the year. We may ask for things to be replenished, but that's not the primary focus. So I do think we've been resourceful as a school system. Recently, our Budget and Finance Department sought a partnership with Cisco, where we were able to get a $5 million loan for 5 years at 0% interest to address our technology needs. So I think that we've been resourceful in trying to seek other measures and other monies to address our needs. So between the fund balances and the money saved from unfilled positions, I think we've done our part, and I certainly do hope that the commissioners will fund the budget as it is, as it has been requested, I should
Very
say.
good. All right, well now we have that, as promised, the wild card question.
Okay.
You get to pick. And I'll take it from there.
Okay.
Let's see how the luck of the draw is. What are your views on Common Core standards and the implementation of them in CCPS system?
I think that's my question.
Do you want to answer?
I sure have, yeah. Certainly.
How lucky.
Well, as I stated previously, the Common Core standards are a nationwide effort.
Mhm.
We are not in isolation of implementing the standards. We have worked very diligently to try to prepare the curriculum to meet the needs of the Common Core standards. It's a very hands-on approach. What we're asking students to do is a practical application of the curriculum that they're learning. We are moving the rigor down in the grade levels so that maybe some of the novels that we ask students to read in the 3rd and the 4th grade, they're now reading in the 2nd grade. But the basic elements of the curriculum remain the same. I was explaining to a parent the other day how she was concerned about her kindergartner having to talk about setting and characterization. And I likened it to when we read a fairy tale to a student, to the children. And after we read the fairy tale, we ask them, well, who are the characters? Who's in the story? How many bears were there? And what did Goldilocks do? And where did they live? Because we're trying to build that comprehension, which is some of the same tenets of Common Core, except we're calling it setting, we're calling it characterization, plot, and storyline. So I do think that the basic premise of Common Core is valid. We do need more resources, and more resources means that we need more money. And that's something, once again, I said that I would, very vocally and visibly advocate for in order to be able to get the job done. We know that Maryland is #1 in the nation, and I think that we're that way because of the curriculum that our superintendent before us, Nancy Grasmick, put into place. So we were some of the first in the nation to use a hands-on approach when it came to statewide assessments, MISPAT. And that was a performance-based assessment. And that's what we're leading to right now with Common Core.
Well, we want to thank you very much for giving us this time. Thank you for coming out and sharing your thoughts with us, and we look forward to seeing this on our Facebook page.
Well, I'd like to say thank you as well. This is a wonderful opportunity, so I thank the Alliance.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good.